Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Spelunky. It's not Spelunky. I shouldn't joke about that. Spelunky is a beautiful game. But so is Isaac. Especially when you get an Eve run. I was gonna say, especially when you get a no matter who it was, no matter whom it were. I was gonna say that. D8TC R4FH. Basically straight up, these have been the easiest Isaac runs of all time, and I am incredibly blessed. It's like, you know, being an NHL team coming off of the All-Star break, and you look at your schedule and you're like, Colorado Avalanche. So I'm going to touch on that. There's another tangent I have for that. Colorado Avalanche. Arizona Coyotes, Vancouver Canucks, San Jose Sharks. Oh, it could be a tough one. Then you go back to Colorado for another game against the 2016-2017 Avalanche. The joke is that they were not very good this year. Neither were the Canucks. See, that's Northernlion's school of owning people. Is you gotta, before you can own people, you gotta own yourself, and then they feel comfortable being owned because you're all in it together. Anyway, let's go Whore of Babylon here. In my opinion, you know, and I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I did teach English in South Korea for 12 months, and as a result, I would say that I am a professional of the highest order. Can't open it, unfortunately. The hardest expression in the English language to say is Colorado Avalanche. There are, like, and I never used to have this problem, and this is not a bit. Well, I mean, I'm mining it for a bit, but it's like, it's the reality of the situation. When I was a kid, I had no problem saying Colorado Avalanche, because that's just how you learn. You get that pattern stuck in your head and you say it. When I went to Korea, all of the A sounds are pronounced the same. They're all ah. So, you know, we say Samsung. That's not correct, technically, although, again, you can localize it to that if you live in the Americas. I think that's fine. But it's actually Samsung. If you go, that's wrong. No, you're wrong, okay? This is... it's a family name in South Korea. You think you know better than the South Koreans how to pronounce the name of the... It's the same thing, like, it's not Hyundai. It's Hyundai. But anyway, I digress. This is getting to the point of irrelevance. Never had a problem. Then I came back after, you know, learning to speak just very, very, very basic Korean. Chogyo mekju duge juseo. Bali Bali. It's a joke for my expats out there. It says, bring me 2 beers and get the lead out, if you know what I mean. So all the A's are pronounced ah. And then you get this word, Colorado. So that's a ra. Ra, 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 ra. And then you go, avalanche. It's like, I know this bit is like, it's not a bit. I know this bit is very insular. It doesn't seem like it makes sense, but people make fun of me. They go, why'd you say Colorado Avalanche wrong? It's because it illustrates, it's the perfect cellar doorism for illustrating how stupid the English language is. Colorado Avalanche. It's a team in the NHL, by the way, if you're confused about what I'm even talking about to begin with here. Oh, that was bad. It's got, like, 8 A's in it, and they're all pronounced differently despite being the same letter. That's why it's the lightning rod for my criticism of the English language that... And I say this as someone who I think has a good handle on the English language. I understand, you know, the musicality of words and how to use them in what I hope is the proper fashion to elicit the maximum amount of humor or at least meaning from them. But, okay, that's a good one. Not a good joke, but a good one. But Colorado Avalanche, it's a tough one. That should be, like, on the final exam of any kind of, like, English language proficiency test. Even for spelling, it's a little hard. It's no Massachusetts, which even to this day I can't spell. And if you can spell Massachusetts properly, I'm assuming you travel there a lot or live there. That's just the way it goes, you know? Sure, you know, I've been to Kejimkujik National Park. I can spell that. Kapuskasing, it's not a problem. Appawapiskat? No worries, dude. No. Right, we got belly button. We can hold 2 of these. Absolutely no freaking problem. Go build an Inukshuk up in Squamish. With the Iroquois, you got a problem? It's actually Iroquois. It's actually whatever they want it to be, okay? You don't get to choose, is what I'm trying to suggest. Can I have a key, please, by the way? Massachusetts, I just can't do. Just name the state Mass. Might seem like a stupid name, but we got no shortage of those, you know? I live in a province called British Columbia. What country is it in? Britain? No, that's stupid. Are you an idiot? Colombia? No. Are you crazy? Absolutely not. It's in Canada, obviously. British Columbia. It's in Canada. It's not even close to Britain or Colombia. Well, it's not that far from Colombia, depending on... If you're walking, it's a long trip. They finally gave me a key. Alright, anyway. The whole point of this was to say that, like, the first runs we've had here have been very easy. It's been like, our strength of schedule has been very low. I'll try to localize it for whatever sport you follow, if you follow sports. If you follow basketball, it's like coming back from the All-Star break, and then you got games against the 76ers, the Brooklyn Nets back-to-back. If you watch the National Football League, it's like, hey, we got a home and away against the Jacksonville Jaguars next week. If you watch the Major League Baseball, it's like, good news, we got a doubleheader with the Philadelphia Phillies tomorrow. Wait, maybe the Marlins are worse now, I can't remember. Anyway, if you watch the British Premier League, it's like we've got a few games with Stoke City, a few tilts with Stoke City coming up. If you watch international soccer only, it's like you're playing Canada in World Cup qualifiers. What is this? This is not a modded run, so it must be a new booster pack item. The 7 Seals. Okay, I have a Horseman of the Apocalypse following me around. It's war. And he seems to be creating flies for me on occasion. He's flying. Oh, he's switched into... I don't think I can control him at all. So, I mean, the way I see it right now is that it's just a horseman that follows you around and creates flies. So it's like a weird rotten baby. Does it create a different number of flies? I'm assuming it doesn't create a different amount of damage for flies, because that breaks kind of like the fundamental rule of flies from Isaac, which is that flies always do 2 times the tier damage of your actual damage stat. This room is like low-key one of the most underrated difficult rooms in Isaac. Everyone always talks about the room with like the mushrooms that pop up and shoot on diagonals or on verticals, but they never actually telegraph, like these guys right here. Why say it when you can just, show it? It's like the first rule of filmmaking. I believe it was Stanley Kubrick that said that originally. Well, why say it when you can just show it? See? It's me, Stanley Kubrick. Right-hand man to Al Capone in the 1930s, see? There we go. I'm not going to take Cursed Eye. This run is fine. I don't know how good the item is. Talk about overcorrections. I almost said, I don't know how well this item is. I don't know how good the 7 Harbingers item is, but, we care about Rosary Bead? I mean, I do like, Callus, even though the odds are I've probably... Oh, you know what? It creates flies when you kill enemies. Is that... No? That was just a coincidence? Creates flies when all your flies die? I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. But the run is still good. Like, our damage stat is great. As long as we can enable Whore of Babylon to function, which we can as long as we keep the Razor Blade and a level of HP that is not 0. Although with 0, we will keep it anyway. So I suppose that's sort of irrelevant. I'd prefer to have a little bit more HP. Let's see what Conquest does. I'm going to assume that he flies around and makes flies for us. Yep, so far so good. If it's just like a weird, kind of like, variable version... No, because it also seeks out enemies. But it doesn't seem to do much damage. Maybe the different followers have different behaviors. Like, Conquest definitely sought out enemies. Or it appeared to, at least. We are getting, like, mighty low on HP. It's got me concerned. We still got an item room to go to here. That's X-Lax. What we are going to do is pop Temperance, and we basically want Temperance to give us Blood Bag, because it's permanent stats. Now we have enough money to make our shop potentially work as well, so let's try that first. And the shop gives us a key, which we probably do want, but do it in this order first, because we get PhD. We should have gone back and played it a little more, but PhD first gives us HP, which we can then use to get enough money to buy a key anyway out of this. But it also gives us the pill, and the pill ended up being a luck upgrade, which is really good. And then we can buy a heart for 3 cents, so I figured we might as well knock that out. We don't really... I mean, Dull Razor can do good stuff for us, but I don't think it's a necessity right now. X-Lax counts as a good pill, unfortunately, so we're not really doing anything by converting that, unfortunately. With PhD is what I mean to say. So a bomb is a worthwhile purchase, because the bomb gives us access to the Tinted Rock. This is the kind of run that I'm happy to have now, because I'm a little bit warmed up, but this gives me the opportunity to... I'm going to be a little lazy about that, but this gives me the opportunity to start to have to min-max just a little bit, not in the way like, oh, well, if I play my cards right, I could go from 81 keys to 84 keys here if I just use the, you know, sine curve of the delta time. And, you know, it's not like that. I don't disparage anybody from doing that. I'm just not that kind of person for the most part. See, we're in kind of a rock, or in between a rock and a hard place here, because I don't really want to use the Razor Blade right now. Found pills is not a good pill. Don't let them lie to you. Well, hopefully, oh, now that we have a bomb, actually, so I think keep Liberty Cap and Callus. Now that we have a bomb, we don't need to buy a bomb. This is getting kind of confusing here. And you're saying, no, it's not. Don't insult our intelligence. But no, I think it is getting slightly more tricky, the situation we find ourselves in here. So that's probably our secret room. We'll crack this. Yeah, it was not really a huge get, but not bad. And I do want to go, well, let's see what we get here. Then we'll talk about it. Ace of Hearts. Yeah, that's actually, like, pretty good. I'm gonna go to our curse room. We're gonna hope that on the curse room we can find a way to not have to lose half a Spirit Heart. So, start by Razor Blade. Yeah, that's like the opposite, isn't it? This guy wants to take all of my hearts here, but this Wooden Cross is really good. It gives you 1 Holy Mantle per floor, if I remember correctly. So we can use it, like, right now. I don't need that HP yet. We'll just do it like this. So there goes our Holy Mantle. 1 Holy Mantle per floor is still very good, in my opinion, at least. And we're really, I think we're doing the right thing here. We've managed to make a lot of things go our way on this floor with a very limited amount of resources. And I'm not talking about Magic the Gathering. So hopefully this is a secret room. Get 2 birds stoned at once. And, I mean, that was actually terrible. And, okay, this is great. So we should get blood or a V-Bag, both of which could be useful for us here. We do have to be a little careful about the way that we choose to play this. Because we don't want to accidentally kill ourselves, but either of these pickups could be good. We'll also definitely get enough money to get Dull Razor if we want to get it. There we go. So we got Blood Bag. I mean, we don't need to pick up any of those then. And we will just barely get enough money to take Dull Razor. I think Dull Razor is, like, super the wrong choice, though, unfortunately. Not having any Spirit Hearts does put us in a weird spot here, but, you know, we can... Even though we got 2.63 damage, which, oh my god, 2.63 damage is terrible. Even though we got 2.63 damage, though, I have hope that we can, basically via the Holy Mantle charge I just had to use, unfortunately, I had hope, that was a really good amount of creep there, that we can get to a Spirit Heart before we have to use Razor Blade to put ourselves in a dicey spot. You know what I mean? Possibly. Not a secret room, but, you know, with this number of bombs, we're gonna check anyway. We did little, like, unsung hero sort of stuff going on here. We went from 0 bombs to 10 bombs by the end of that situation, and then I squandered all my goodwill by taking damage in that situation. So, this is becoming, like, the opposite of what you want out of an Eve run. By that I mean, you don't normally... Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. You don't normally want HP and no damage. We'd much prefer to have no HP, but, like, probably quite a lot of damage. So, we're a little bit opposite of where you'd like to be. on the average Eden run. But you know what? It's not an average Eden run. It's a weirdo Eden run. Thus far, at least. We got an item I've never seen before in my entire life. And honestly, although I was originally a little bit skeptical that it was any good at all, the longer it goes on with us having basically garbage damage, the happier I am to have it. Especially the creeps seem to just, like, destroy. That's how you know you've played probably a little bit too much Isaac, when you can look at where an enemy is and then place the bomb for where they're going to be in like 4 seconds. That's an indication that I've probably wasted my young adult years here. NL, don't be silly. You're not a young adult anymore. Well, I don't know. You know what the problem is? I think the phrase young adult has lost all meaning because of bookstores. I was reading young adult books when I was like 11 years old. When you're 11 years old, you're not a young... I was not saying I was particularly precocious, you know? Young adult books when I was a kid was like, Goosebumps. It was like, there might be some kissing in the book. That's what a young adult book was. I got bad news for you. If you're watching this and you're 11 years old, first off, you probably... First off, good for you, I guess. Not really the target audience for these. Surprised that... the fact that you resonate at all with the content. Most of the references are a little bit before your time. But anyway, kudos. It's unfortunate you don't represent really a prime demographic from an advertiser standpoint. You know, it'd be nice if you could get older and then buy like some Audis or something like that. And then, you know, the ad rates would go through the roof. But I don't begrudge you watching the content anyway. Although it is stealing. Anyway, that's a joke, of course. Where are we going here? We finally got a Spirit Heart. And a 2 of Hearts versus an Ace of Hearts. Oh, thanks for the secret room access. But if you're 11 and you're like, I read young adult novels. No, you don't. You read novels that are for probably teenagers. The teenager's not a young adult. There's nothing wrong with it. That's why we got a word for it. The word is teenagers. I don't care. Maybe I do. I don't know. I don't know, dude. We're getting like... a litany of mid-tier trinkets here. But yeah, I maintain Goosebumps. Not a young adult novel, in my opinion. But what is a young adult? As a 28-year-old, I'm not an authority on the subject. I think a young adult is probably someone between the ages of like 18 and 25. You stop being a young adult when you can tell someone that you just had a baby and they don't look at you like... You sure? Like, if we had a child, and I was like, hey, guess what? You know, Kate's pregnant. People would be like, oh, finally, right? At least my mom would be. But if you're like 22 and you were like, guess what? Kate's pregnant. People would be like, oh, is that, like, on purpose? You know? That's when you're a young adult. When having a child... you were greeted with an inquisitive response. It's a remarkably elegant metric. Now, you're gonna say things like, what if you come from a particularly religious community? What if you come from, you know, a rural community where things are, you know, the standards and norms are different? Well, you know, fair play. I did, I knew a guy in university. Totally, like, I mean, I only met him like 3 or 4 times. He was a stand-up guy. Everyone had nothing but nice things to say about him. Devoutly religious. He had 2 kids by the time we graduated. And he was still, like, going to school. It was amazing. So I wouldn't say I was jealous, because, I mean, come on, dude. 2 kids by the time you're, like, 19, 20, 21 years old. You're getting a little ahead of yourself. There's plenty of time. You know, we never stop making sperm. Unless, you know, you're not married to a 38-year-old, you're doing fine, dude. Take some time for yourself here. Less than 10 years ago, you were in, like, middle school. Learn something about the world so you can pass it. Anyway, the point is, I'm not disparaging young parents. I'm just saying, you know, different people do see, you know, stuff like that at different points in their lives as being, you know, appropriate or inappropriate, I suppose. Anyway. That's not for me to say. I just, you know, I basically just handle myself. death card. We're definitely, like, we have no chance of making boss rush in case that's not abundantly clear. And we don't really care about having AAA batter. Again, I'm not disparaging this. We've gotten such okay trinkets over the course of this run. That's a little scary, isn't it? But we really have gotten just okay trinkets over the course of this run. We've not had like one cancer level trinket or curved horn or you know, it's not Dark Princess Crown, but like Bloody Crown or whatever it's called show up and be like, this is the trinket. Instead, we're kind of, you know, we're getting a lot of B pluses, and we're going, hey, you know, well, you can retake the midterm exam, and if you get a higher mark than you got on the midterm the second time, I'll give you that mark. And then, you know, we got like a 51, and now we're getting like a 53. It's like, yeah, well, it is better, but I spent like, you know, another 8 hours studying for it, so I'm not really sure from an opportunity cost standpoint it was a great use of my time. But the point is, as good as, that was terrible, as decent as the run is right now, it's no longer good, I would say, but as decent as the run is right now, we need a damage upgrade that is not dependent. You got something for me? No? We need a damage upgrade that is not dependent on Whore of Babylon for its quality. Right now, I put myself in a rough spot there. Right now, we're not there. Not even close. Without Whore of Babylon being active, we have like 2 damage. Growth Hormones helps. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go Glass Cannony for a while here. And we should go to our shop. Navi, you're too slow. Well, that's easy money. And we will get the stopwatch, which is also a speed upgrade, but we're at max speed. Okay, well, we will use bombs, and I need more than that, I'm sorry to tell you. We'll use bombs, and that takes us to 5 cents, which allows us to get this, which is Ace of Clubs, which is not great, but can live with it. I'm gonna try a few of these out, and then we're gonna use Forget Me Now. Okay, so we'll keep Ace of Clubs for now. Use Forget Me Now. We're gonna try to get like one floor ahead of where we're at right now, because we're certainly not there at the present moment. So, I am starting to get a little bit more nervous about this run. I think I went into it, I had like the opposite of Highway Blindness, where the Highway Blindness is where, obviously, by the way, we don't need Callus anymore, so let's knock that out. But Highway Blindness is when, you know, you're going 110 kilometers an hour, you know, like 75 miles an hour on the interstate, and then you hit your exit and the sign goes, you know, maximum 30 miles an hour, you 50 kilometers an hour. You slow down to that speed and you go, what were they smoking? They can't be right. This is like I'm going at a snail's pace, but it's only because you've become acclimated to your fast speed that you think that is impossibly slow. We got like the opposite, where all of my recent runs have been so good, where I'm looking at this one and going, this one is also great because it exists. And that is clearly not the case. That's tough love, tough choice. We got 3 luck right now, so it's like a little tempting, but I'm gonna go for Rotten Baby instead. It's a little bit of the coward's way out, but, you know, cowardice gets a bad rap. I wonder how many people have died due to cowardice appearing to be like a negative trait. Cowardice is a survival trait, dude. The problem with cowardice is a bad thing, you know? If invaders are knocking on your door or something like that, and they're like, we would very much be liking to take your property right now. Yeah, let's just go. And you're just like, well, I don't want to get hurt, so sure, take my house, and, you know, here's my car keys. That's cowardice to an extreme degree. But they always do it like, hey, wanna duel? Well, you know what'd be really funny is if we just got in a gunfight and killed each other. Well, I don't really want to do that. Oh, what a coward. Like, cowardice is the most misdiagnosed personality trait of all time. We can use polydactyly. I always get confused because I think that it's the same as the belly button until I remember that they're just similar but not the same. What a garbage deal with the devil. I would say that, you know, to some extent, I am a coward, but I don't think that I'm uncourageous. As much as those might seem like they're at odds with one another, I don't like to take stupid risks. Like, I really don't understand beyond like a neurochemical level, I don't understand the appeal of gambling. But oddly, for a while, I was really into opening Counter-Strike Global Offensive boxes. Not like, I didn't ever do like CSGO Lotto or stuff like that, but I'm like, sure, you know, we're doing the subscriber stream, I'll open like, you know, 10 crates or something like that. Which is gambling, except the downside is that instead of even having a chance to win real money, you just win skins in the end. Oh, but through an incredibly complicated series of intermediaries, you can turn those skins into the money that you originally had when you start. Okay, I know. I'm very familiar, sadly, with the whole process. Not sadly. I mean, it's a pretty low stakes, I suppose. But could have been a better bomb. Could have been a better bomb. Gotta send it like a letter from above, because I forget it's been a while. Watsky. It's not been a while for him, he's working, but it's been a while for me. Anyway. But I've said this a couple times, but I had the misfortune. If you live there and love it, don't let me dissuade you. But I had the misfortune of being in Las Vegas a couple times this year. I just do not understand gambling. We had a colleague of mine and I were hanging out at the roulette table, and it's pretty, again, low stakes, you know. It's like a minimum $5, minimum $10 bet, so it's like, you know, the kiddie tables, basically. But you could bet up to like $200 a bet or something like that. And there was a lady who came and sat next to us. And I feel like the thing with gambling is you never call it, like you never know if they're cool or addicted. Which doesn't sound nice, but she came down and she, you know, was at the roulette table making some very, very dangerous bets. You know, the way that I was doing it was basically like, I want to sit here and they will keep bringing me stuff as long as I, you know, am constantly betting. So I'd be like, oh, give me, you know, $20 on red. And then they'd be like, okay, it's black. What do you want this time? And I'd be like, $20 on red. And then they're like, it's red. And I'm like, I've beaten the system. Except sometimes you get those double greens, and then that throws your variance all off. But anyway, the point is, she was going like, give me $200 on like 11. We're like, lady, 11's just one number. I understand you get paid out to a proportionally higher degree, but still. By my fuzzy mental math calculations, this lady lost like $2 or $3 grand sitting here for an hour. I was down like, you know, $18 or something like that. It was a fantastic time. Either way, I don't get it, because for me, they would have, like, if they doubled the odds of the casino in my favor, I might be in. But if I bet like $100 on something and I lose $100, I'm like, that sucks. I'm a failure. Why? I just spent $100 for nothing. But if I bet $100 and I win and I get $200, I go, it's not really that big of a deal. You know, I turned $100 into $200. It's not like life-changing. I suppose it could be life-changing if you bet like your whole life savings on it. But then, you know, multiply the feeling of losing that $100 as well. And you get the idea, I think, is what I'm trying to get across here. Like, there was the story, and I hated that. I don't think it's irresponsible journalism that this was published, but I hate the interpretation that some people are going to have of this. There was like a guy in England, and he got fired from his job. It must have been a good job, because he had something like, you know, 100,000 pounds in savings. So he's doing pretty well, right? But he got fired from his job, and I guess this, you know, something shorted out in his brain. No offense meant, but you'll hear the story and maybe agree with me, and if you don't, well, I'm not saying I'm right, but he was like, you know what? I'm gonna start a new life. So he flew to Vegas and he put all of his life savings on like black or red. It doesn't matter. He one of the like 49% gets at the roulette table, and he won. So the news printed the story, and they're like, "This is amazing! Look at this! He doubled his life savings in one go." Yeah, but like, if you've got like 100,000 pounds in your savings account, you're doing better than like I mean, obviously, compared to people who live, you know, in like Burkina Faso, I'm gonna exempt that from this situation. But even relative to the other people in your country, you're probably beating like 98% of them or something, right? You're up there, is what I'm getting at. To double that is not that big of a deal. You know, once you get into those levels of wealth, you got to start multiplying it by 5, I think, in order to see a huge return. That is a great pickup for us. Whereas if you lose all of your life savings, you go from being like, I can comfortably rent for the next 4 years without working a day, to I have to live in a garbage can. This is like, that seemed like the worst. Sure, is it 50-50? No, but it's like roughly 50-50, admittedly, that he's gonna win or lose. And you get a proportional reward for winning that you do for losing. So I understand from a mathematical standpoint, not the appeal necessarily, but the value proposition. But I feel like if somebody had just sat down with him and been like, hey dog, you understand that, yeah, okay, you got like roughly an equal chance to win and lose. Not quite, but you know, roughly. But the consequences of losing are way better than the rewards of winning in this situation. He would have been like, oh yeah, I see. By the way, it's me, 1961 Paul McCartney. Paperback writer, that gives me a good idea. Anyway. Sounds nothing like Paul McCartney because I haven't died and then had myself replaced with a lookalike yet, have I? Now I'm Australian, apparently. New Zealand, maybe. Jerry's out. Gives me a great idea for a song. Anyway, I don't know. That's what I'm just saying. I don't get gambling. I don't even remember where that came from. I get the addiction aspect of gambling, I suppose. It's like Kanye West said, why everything is supposed to be bad make me feel so good. Everything they told me not to was exactly what I would. Oh, dude, we can actually fight Hush here. Kanye didn't say that part, but I don't think we want to. It's just a testament to the fact that the run has gotten, like, a little better here. Oh, don't even. But he doesn't talk about gambling in that song. He says, what's your addiction? Is it money? Is it girls? Is it weed? I've been afflicted, but not one, but not two, but all three. And I'm like, there's more than that. There's like crocodile. I don't think you've ever been afflicted by crime. I'm not trying to say you haven't gone through your own struggles. You know, everybody walks their own path, Kanye, but you ever been addicted to crocodile? You know what? I'm gonna roll the freaking dice here. The other thing is Guppy's tail gives us a little Guppy's paw gives us a little protection for Whore of Babylon. By that I mean, if we get lard, we could take it and then get 6 spirit hearts out of it. And it's not like the speed downgrade gives us much of a negative right now, so I gotta say, the Harbinger, or 7 Harbingers, whatever the heck it's called, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's any good at all, but it is nice. Oh, that's so good. It is nice to have the flies. Like, part of it is Rodden Baby now as well, but I think it might be sort of good. It's like a Meat Boy. I don't know if it's as good as a 3rd level Meat Boy, but it's like a little Hushy that seeks out enemies and spawns flies for you. It seems okay. By the way, I've like ignored look listen this whole time. I guarantee it. Shouldn't have done that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna necessarily apologize for it. I think that's, if punishment doesn't fit the crime, but you know, I'm hurting myself by doing so, and I recognize that. One Eternal Heart could have changed the game for us at a few different opportunities, but we're gonna manage to make it through here regardless, and I'm relatively shouldn't have done it, but relatively happy about that. The thing is, I play a risky style in Isaac. Ooh, I didn't even see that one. Play a risky style in Isaac, you might think that I'm prone to that sort of like, well, no, I know if you listen to the episodes, you're not just watching for the high caliber gameplay. You know I'm a fairly risk-averse person, I think. But yeah, that's why like playing risky in video games, I guess, appeals to me, because the consequences are essentially nil, except for, you know, when you do really bad in Kerbal Space Program for a little while, you know, jeopardizing your whole livelihood. But, you know, that's nothing serious, so. What do we have here? here. Something's wrong. Come on, man. There's something happening here. I'm not even picking up pennies anymore. You can't convince me. Let's go. 4 keys. So my favorite concert I've ever seen was the 4 Keys. It was the Black Keys, a Stevie Wonder cover band that played the entirety of Songs in the Key of Life, and now you go, oh, geez, how are we going to get 2 more keys out of this one? Key and Peele opened with the comedy thing. You know, comedy and music go hand in hand. It's nice to see they haven't gone to Hollywood and they can still show up at the, you know, Bellingham I Buy Power Festival. I don't know, I was trying to think. All these arenas have, like, bad names. You know, I understand the corporate sponsorship, but, you know, when I was a kid, it was the Montreal Forum, you know? Maple Leaf Gardens. Now, it's always like, it's the Quicken Loans track and field event, and you're like, it's lost a little bit of the majesty or a little bit of the decorum. You know, when did the sports become all about money? Well, when they asked you to give up your 20s and have a good chance of a, you know, chronic brain injury that afflicts you later. But when did it become all about the money? You see, you're changing my points around here. So we're going to get 2 books that I couldn't care less about. And that's okay. But certainly not quite the caliber of items I was expecting to grab down here. I think it's fair. This run is actually, like, kind of not good. I don't want to make you think that it's like it was a chore to do this run, because we got some positive things going for us. Like, when the heck did we get 6 luck? Like, my luck stat is just like, it's like having a child. It is matured before my eyes, and then one day, you know, I turn around and it's going off to college here. Sprinkler's pretty cool. I like that item. But apart from a couple of big pickups, it was a little bit of an underpowered run, I think. So I got to give it up to, like, Rotten Baby, Harbinger. Those were both pretty solid, I think. Growth Hormones was a big help when we needed damage. Succubus, also a high-quality pickup, without a doubt. But also, like, a lot of near garbage. Did I say Rotten Baby? I would be remiss if I didn't mention Rotten Baby. I always want to mention Rotten Baby. One of the best, well, probably one of the top 3 familiars. I was going to say the best familiar, but you do have Succubus, Incubus, Rotten Baby, Little Brimstone. Like, you got some really good familiars there. I think Rotten Baby and Little Brimstone can swap out that number 3 spot depending on your own damage stat. Oh, pretty good. Death's Touch and the Hoyt. Wow, I could not have dodged that any worse. So, you know, these guys are done and dusted. There's still a theoretical chance of a loss, but it's low. So come in here, drop this. It's low like a 1977 David Bowie album produced in Frankfurt, Germany. It was Berlin. Everybody knows it was Berlin. Berlin. That famous David Bowie quote. I welcome the words. Ich bin ein Berliner. Now. No delirium. Thank you so much. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time. Of course.